Attention, please. It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
I'm back. Wait, 6 or 5, fixing to kick it in the overdrive. I'm back. Y'all be hating that I'm alive. Well, guess who's back? I'm back. Gobble. I'm back. Wait, 6 or 5, fixing to kick it in the overdrive. I'm back. Y'all be hating that I'm alive. Well, guess who's back? I'm back. Gobble. I'm back. Wait, 6 or 5, fixing to kick it in the overdrive. I'm back. Y'all be hating that I'm alive. Well, guess who's back? I'm back. Gobble. I'm back. Wait, 6 or 5, fixing to kick it in the overdrive. I'm back. Y'all be hating that I'm alive. Well, guess who's back? I'm back. Gobble. About to commit a crime on these fools one at a time. Cause they ever seen a mind as dangerous as mine. These fools will be running around blind, wishing they had a 9. What you're afraid of, remember I'm dying. It's either heaven or hell. But books be giving up in that cell, while Johnny and PBR fixing to go to jail. And don't forget Austin Reacts, who can't even count to 12. Whole pace is so stressed, cause he's never laid hands on 2 breasts. Getting off on grandma's wrinkled chest. Y'all forgot I'm way 615. I'm back. Gobble. Y'all forgot I'm way 615. I'm back. Gobble. Y'all forgot I'm way 615. Gobble. Now you got all that burn, kicking pregnant women while they're down, being the biggest rat in this town. Going to your DQ, acting the clown, filming and threatening little minors, acting like a little whiner. This lazy butt goes on YouTube as the king of e-begging, wanting others I'll pay the debt from all the charging, even asking for a trailer so they can get moving. Johnny, you're a loser, you never win, and you know pedaling up against me would be your biggest sin. I do to you what Lyle and Eric Menendez done to the kid. I'm back. Johnny, gobble. Don't think I'm weak like Ronnie. I'm back. Johnny, I'm back. Don't think I'm weak like Ronnie. Gobble. Wait, 615. I fight to survive cause I have that drive. But you keep talking that crap on Creek Squad and you might just meet your God. Hope you get a bodyguard cause like I said before, I'm back. Wait, 615, it is back. Gobble. Coming with a full force attack. I'm back. Wait, 615 is back. I'm tired of all the smack. Gobble. I'm back. Wait, 615 is back. Who's back? Wait, 615 is back. Wait, 615 is back. Wait, 615 is back. Gobble. Coming with a full force attack. I'm back. Wait, 615 is back. I'm tired of all the smack. I'm back. Wait, 615 is back. Who's back? Wait, 615 is back.
Yeah. Tag burns, don't you know by now? You can't set me off. I'm hard and you're wet and soft. First you was down with Native J. Now you hanging with Buddha Bombay. Dag burn, double nation, who you fooling? Y'all fools just fun. I put that on my family, the creep squad homies. Wet brain boys on your team, so you're losing. Just a bunch of junkies still using. Call me toothless, but you been a dick, and we know you pay that prison purse up quick, even when Merle was doing a trick. You over the living in Section 8, living off the people of the state. You could run 100 miles with nowhere to go, but I'm CREEKSQUAD, and you're just a DICK sucking hoe. We winning and you're getting power with no Vaseline. Churches making millions. He don't care about some fake punk feelings. You're over there getting pounded hard and quick when you need to be learning arithmetic. We all heard you gave up the draws, getting gang banged by your Petey's little pick. Even heard you say your daddy was like P. Diddy. Now Zach, the latest new fella, treating her like a ready teller. Now they got you wearing a purse and high heels. I don't get paid by church. 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 But we all know you and Mo snitch. Fucking that 500 will make you rich, but y'all still a bitch. Got Stevens humble, hurt the little maggot. Boy got scared and ran like a rabbit. And Austin reacts who you can't believe a word he has to say. Why you getting pounded by Jay Prez, Tyrone and Native J? Get off YouTube, it's that simple. Or put a bullet in your temple. Cause you'll never be accepted by Creek Squad. That's a fact, just ask God. Pulling wolves with that GoFundMe scams. Now I gotta play silent, settle lambs with a half-pint midget who the pop to. Trying to mess with me, well that's you. Take this pill like you take that pound with no Vaseline. Yo, Gil. But we all know you and Mo snitch. Thinking that 500 will make you rich, but y'all still a bitch. Cause Stevens humble as a little maggot. Boy got scared, ran like a rabbit. And Austin reacts who you can't believe a word he has to say. But no Vaseline. No Vaseline. But no Vaseline. Yeah. But we all know you and Merle snitch. Thinking that 500 will make you rich, but y'all still a bitch. Got Stevens humble hut the little maggot. Boy got scared and ran like a rabbit. And Austin reacts who you can't believe a word he has to say. Why you getting pounded by Jay Prez, Tyrone and Native J?
What's going on, everybody? Hope y'all have had a good Memorial Day weekend so far. Everybody hear me okay? Yeah, Seifert going to be coming up here in a little bit. He's grabbing him a bite to eat right now. Yeah, so I thought we'd go back and the one lie that I know for sure that got underneath both Johnny and Melinda's skin, we're going to go back over. We're going to try them out. I figured y'all may enjoy it, and we may have to turn it into a two-parter. I don't know, because that little live was long. But Blue Eyes, how's it going? Apple Creek. Dan Redbeard, he was here earlier today. Christopher Cunningham. Miss Kathy. Got Jerry in the house. HB Tennessee. Let's see here. Like I said, we got our great mods, Apple Creek and Michelle T. Yeah, I'd seen y'all were staying busy way before the show even started, so I figured, you know what? Gonna make it a little easier on you. I'm gonna put the subscriber mode on, even though it's only on for 10 minutes, so they may come in a little later. But damn, Yankees, good to see you, hon. I've had a pretty relaxing weekend. We've been doing a few odds and ends and enjoying movies at night. So, Dixie, how are you? Great to see you in here. Shaded J, Sean, Jay Press, how's it going? Nitro and Gunner. Coco, how are you? Brandy B. Oh, we got the toothless Appalachian. How's it going? Bo Barker, Mr. Barendorf Ranch in the house. Yeah, so like I said, hopefully y'all been enjoying y'all's weekend. Milkshakey, how is it? Uncle Will, hope you're doing well. Hope you had some good luck fishing the other night. Ice and Fire, how's it going? Justice Roberts. Don, how's it going? Jennifer. All right, so yeah, we still got people coming in, but no, I have noticed a few things we'll talk about before we get started. Give Super a little time, but I've noticed on both sides, seems like I guess since Johnny and Merle was buying subs and all that, seems like quite a few people are starting to do that. Really don't know. I mean, other than to say, yeah, you got this many subscribers, why somebody really wants to do that? Because you got to do a live, and if your count stays the same watching that or so, it's really gonna hurt you. I mean, if you go from 1,500 to 10,000 subscribers in a week or 2 weeks, and then your lives don't change, But PBR, you never did do what you promised everybody once you reached 5,000. You hadn't gave away that antique audio equipment of yours. Just as weather-wise, I hope September's better, but we all know how that normally goes. I know where I'm at. The first 2 weeks of September is supposed to be a lot cooler. So, which means on the back end, it'll probably be burning up. Possibility, Will, possibility. I did see someone earlier in here, they were talking about the only, either talking about Johnny or Melinda or PBR or Martin, and they hadn't said nothing about you. It's like, well, apparently you're not paying any attention. They may not mention my name, but they do talk about us. That's their thing now. They think if they don't mention a certain person's name, they can still talk, and that makes it okay. But whether it is or it didn't, yes, that's who we're going to talk about tonight, or the Dagburns. Big congratulations once again to Ryan Upchurch and Beth. They welcomed in their little baby girl this week. So that's a great thing. And of course, we still got Skylar and Billy with their little baby girl, Sage. She's growing like a weed. Absolutely, Rusty. Rusty says, I speak on retards because people show up to hear it. Exactly. I did see Johnny congratulating Ryan, which I found it kind of ironic considering he was over there saying that it wasn't even Ryan's baby here a few months back, and saying that she was pregnant by this one and that one, and you know. Don, you know, Martin can claim that certain people are Christians or not, but he's proven himself. He showed everybody what kind of person he is. So he said that he was going to get off YouTube. And the only time that you would see him on YouTube is if it's him talking about Christ or, well, maybe politics. Then, of course, he gets on here and says, well, I'm not going to do any more politics because it changes daily. Well, yeah, you got to keep up with it there, Martin. Then he talks about some of us again. So apparently his faith is only strong when he has nothing to smoke. Once he gets something to smoke, faith went right out the window for him. And Martin, you can't be preaching to everybody on how they live when you're constantly living in sin. Gotcha, man. How's it going? True Texan? KJ? So now the video we're going to get into tonight, like I said, I'm going to give it to see for a little time before we get started, is did Melinda give up 2 kids? Now, what this one was, what she went on, she told her story. There were a handful of us that listened to it, caught on to a few things, noticed that some of the things she said was wrong, and so we done a reaction to the video and called her out on some of this stuff, saying that's not the way that goes down. And yeah, it really, Johnny was the first one, of course, because she won't stand up for herself, and she has to have Johnny do it, and Johnny's over there, you're talking about my wife, you're talking about my wife. Well, Johnny, we're talking about another YouTube creator. Now, yes, you are married to her, but we're not going after her necessarily because you're married to her, but, you know, she's a YouTube creator, so she's open game when she puts a video out, and we want to do a reaction to it. So that's what we've done, and we're going to replay it and discuss some things. It's been a major discussion for months afterwards. People saying, well, you know, you shouldn't be bringing children into it. Well, we didn't bring the children into it. We didn't mention any kids' names. We talked about what she talked about on her live. Yeah, gotcha, man. So let me pull up comments over here on StreamYard. And so gotcha, man. Just had a good one right there. So I knew she was a great mother when she referred to her daughter's dad's side as the biological side of her family. And Johnny, you know, you being this OG creaker, Lord, don't strike me down for referring to him as that, but yeah, he was a little late to the game. Congratulating. I mean, for the guy that knows everything that's going on before it's ever put out there, I guess Patty couldn't inform you of that one. Kush you, Johnny. No, that was one piece of information I guess so Patty didn't know about. No, Jerry. I mean, he hadn't. He hadn't apologized to Ryan. He hadn't apologized to Beth. And let's not forget now the comment he made wasn't necessarily directed to Skylar. I think it could have been directed to any and everybody that was pregnant during the year 2024. So, y'all remember his comment talking about, will we see a miscarriage in 2024? I mean, it's just he don't like any of that side. I mean, let's look how we talked about Billy and everybody else. I mean, just a lonely guy. But I'll go ahead and I'll get it started. And hold on 1 minute. Okay, I'll go ahead and get it started, and then once Seeper comes in, we'll go from there. So since this is actually my video, we don't have to stop it every 20 seconds. We'll let it go right through, and not much they're going to be able to say. Okay, now before we go any farther, was y'all able to hear that? Please tell me so, because I didn't record it and do it separate. So I'll hit play, let it run about 10 seconds, and then y'all let me know if you can hear it. Okay, well, that's a bummer. Let me see if I can. Okay, well, that's a bummer. Let me see if I can. Because I clicked it on over on even on the phone, and okay, y'all let me know how it is this time. Wanting to tell your side of your story. No one was going to tell your story. And what I found out ironic about that, just okay, I don't know what the heck's going on there. Let me. So all right, so you're pretty familiar with it. Like I said, I know Gail is, because we know how Johnny and Melinda are. They Johnny's still referring to himself now as Strike King Boss again. I don't know why the video on it's like that. Hold on, let me. I had to send somebody into a darn seizure. See if we can get that straight real quick, and then we'll go. Yeah, I guess I should have recorded the whole darn thing, but it was 3 hours. So If y'all are ready, you know, are y'all ready to listen to this stuff?
Yeah, I am. Hi, Nikhil.
Hey
Hello,
there.
everybody in chat.
Okay, so
Sorry, I was late. I was out throwing walks at houses.
guess I'll just have to put a banner over it. Well, now, you know, I hope you're using them cheek walks because, you know, some of them walks can get expensive. That's the first time I'd ever heard that, too. I mean,
That was funny.
how messed up you got to be to say walks?
Same as Twirl.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he was parked in front of a Chinese restaurant, and I mean, but now I've also got the video clip where he said that he told me personally I wasn't living inside of his empty head. Okay, so I'm gonna try to.
Whatever. We all live there rent free.
Yeah, I mean, when he admitted he had an empty head, though, I thought
different down in Tennessee where she's from as to Kentucky where I'm from.
And this is
trying to get to the beginning of her story, and proof is other people saying that happened. He has no proof that ever happened. He can't prove that it happened. He never will be able to prove that happened. Because in order for that to happen, it literally would have had to happen.
yeah, exactly.
But he runs with that narrative.
Yeah, and he's done it many times.
We did it again today.
Yeah.
He was like saying that I groom underage boys, and I said, so you're calling me a pedo? And he's like, no. I said, well, I was in there under a fake name. Of course,
There
now
we
they're
go.
gonna know it's me, but I don't care. But they're like, so I said she grooms underage boys. I said, so you're calling her a pedo? That's the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Johnny, let's remember now, what all has your ex-wife said about you? I mean, number one, she said you had more sugar in your tank than, you know, I mean. So is that true? Let's get back to Melinda here.
This woman is very miserable to be doing this. Let's continue.
PM and let's see what else was stinky, and I can't remember what all else was said to me this morning in 80s live.
Gail, baby, we know you're watching, honey.
Coming over there,
just like we know Melinda's watching right now.
messing with Johnny and Melinda because why not?
Sad.
But that got me on a subject that's very
Now listen, her experience was not like mine.
Well, now that's the thing. No two cases are the same.
And things may be different down in Tennessee where she's from as to Kentucky where I'm from.
And this is not a joke.
So, I mean, y'all can tell here she's already getting ready for the first excuse.
Video. Everyone knows I'm an adoptive mom. And this is, I'm going to mention her name. This is Melinda. Signed her rights away to some of her kids. I don't even know how many, and I don't even care.
Obviously.
Now, Gail, you put your video out earlier, and you've discussed about adopting kids. Am I right?
Yes.
Now, that's not a quick process.
No, not at all.
Shout out to Gail. And whether in Tennessee or Kentucky or Arizona, whatever state, folks, it's a lengthy process. If you want to adopt a child, it's rather lengthy. Now, there are parents that have signed their rights over to family members, and it can go by rather quick. And the reason I know this, like I've stated, my sister was from my mom's first marriage, and the judge told her father that it would be in the best interest if my father adopted her. He signed away all rights. But that's not
Well,
what
I think
I think what can be a quick process or a quicker process is if you sign over like temporary rights and stuff. I
Well, see,
think that,
that's the difference. Yeah, that's the difference. So if you're just signing over custody, that's easy. That's
yeah,
like you said, temporary custody, that's a quick process. That's not hard. But when you're signing your rights away, that's the lengthy part of it. That is something that is a completely whole different legal issue because you're making it where basically the parents didn't exist. Like they never existed. They never birthed that kid. The birth certificate has to get changed. The social security number has, I mean, it's so much legal documentation. And when you look up these kids, in the government's eyes, the parents never existed. The adoptive parents or the biological parents are the ones that had the kid. So it's more than just signing over temporary custody. You can do that without the parent being there. They can just write out a paper on a spiral notebook. But when you're taking like parental rights away, it's as if the parents never existed.
yeah, yeah, and I think that has to go through a process through the court now. Like, not to give it away what's going on in the video, but you know how she said that she did it with a lawyer and all real quick. That don't work like that.
No, not at all.
And folks, Gail went through this several times. I mean, all of us in here know Gail. We all know she's adopted several children. Yeah, I mean, this isn't just she done it once, and vaguely familiar with it. No, this is something that she has done several times. So I mean, yeah, I think that's where she's getting everything confused. But let's see what else she's got to say. And
Obviously, you do because you're speaking on it and trying to.
Gail, was that you on here or on the video?
I think it was a video.
Okay.
Twist and
So
let's
I've
listen.
sat in court with my kids.
Hey, Chels.
And I won't give details about their adoption because it's not my story to tell, and it was not.
It's not her story to tell, but yet it's her story to get on here and say that I signed adoption papers. Okay, but now let me get back to my story. Whenever that man took me out on that bike.
Okay, now how the bike had anything to do with the adoption, I don't know, but she's fixing to go into this long drawn out story, folks, and she veers away from the adoption, but go ahead and listen to her story.
They have speed bumps on your way back in to the projects. As he was driving slow, you know how whenever you ride on a crotch rocket, you lean on their back. Well, I was just literally sitting up straight like this on the back because he was just going slow. Well, let me tell you what, he goosed it, and I didn't know if he done it on purpose or if he was just fucking around with me or what, but he goosed it and I about come off the back of it. Like I barely gripped his shirt in time or I would have come off the back of it. I ignored that. We get back to his apartment. We go inside his apartment to put our helmets up in the closet. Well, he opened up the closet door, so therefore I was the first one to lay my helmet in. Well, whenever I stepped my foot inside this closet to lay the helmet on the bench inside there, he shoves me in this closet and shuts the door. I go straight into panic mode. I'd never been done this way. I start kicking the door, and I'm like, let me out. I mean, I was seriously panicking. He let me out. Well, I pushed him back, went on to my mom's apartment. I brushed it off. I ignored him that day. Well, he
Now, I mean, I can understand why she would be getting upset during this. If everything she is stating right now is true. But yeah, I mean, she had to tell this long drawn out story just to get to to answer a little bit of the other story that, yeah.
Apologized, said he was just joking, and I didn't know how to take a joke. Okay, I let that go. Well, we ended up actually in a relationship together.
Now, here's my question, Melinda. If you knew that it was already going to be this way, if he was already showing signs of abuse, why stay? Why put yourself through that?
Well, this
Second question.
relationship she's talking about, she obviously was married to him.
Yeah, that's and then Melinda, in the story, you've never really discussed how much drugs were you on at this time? And the reason I'm asking you is because when you and Johnny came up on my channel when y'all was wanting to get back into Creek Squad, you talked about being on drugs an awful lot, real bad. So was this during this time?
And
Yeah.
the reason I say that about them being married is because he carried his last name.
Oh, well.
Yeah, the Gayheart name,
Mm-hmm.
that's his last name.
Oh, so the Gayheart was a married, and that's not her maiden.
No, that's Jacob's last name.
Well, yeah, see, I didn't even think about that. So there we go. Yeah, she did mention her first husband. Yeah. Well, let's see what else is in this little story. Because folks, I got a feeling she tells this story again next year, it's going to be like Johnny's story. You're going to notice some differences.
He was good to Riley. He was so good to Riley. Riley was about 6 months old whenever Jake came into my life.
So wait a minute. So now there's signs of abuse, and yet you're still going to stay there with your child. Oh,
and this story gets sad, and but it was not ever a healthy relationship, ever. And a lot of y'all can judge me after I put this live out. I don't care. This is my story. This is what happened to me. I don't want somebody trying to tell my story for me. You didn't walk in my shoes, Gail. Therefore, you have no clue what happened. Okay.
and now, so in other words, she wants to tell her story. If anybody sees any gaps in the story, anything false in the story, don't say a word, because it's just her story. Kind of like Johnny and his story, where his dad touched him, and you go back a year before, the story was different. You go back a year or so before that on, I think it's the Facebook, and the story was different on that. On multiple platforms, he told his story, and each time the story was different. And yet, let's see how she goes. You have no idea what Gail's been through in her life.
Time goes on. We're doing good.
Go
ahead, Gail.
I said absolutely nothing about that. All I said was she signed her kids away. I mean, I don't even care. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful. If she went through all that, I hate that for her. A lot of women go through things like that, and it's absolutely horrible. But I didn't even say nothing about that. I didn't try to tell that. I wasn't even going to say anything about that because I didn't know anything about that. All I said was don't say that somebody stole your kids, because everybody that loses their kids or has their kids taken from them always has that same excuse. They took my kids or they stole my kids from me. It's always that excuse. Don't do that. Be real. I was a piece of shit. I was on drugs and I lost my kids. Be real about it.
That's like Brandy said, if she lost them, why was it just her youngest Why didn't she lose all of them?
Y'all,
Yeah.
it is so easy to get your kids back as a bio mom. As a bio mom, it is so easy to get your kids back, which is why I had to fight for 8 years. They will give them back to you. All you have to have is a job and a place to live. That's it. Pay your bills, have a job, and a place to live, which clearly she does. That's all you have to do. And there's no excuse. There is no. I have no respect for a female, and I'm gonna sound like sexist because I'm harder on women than I am on men. You carry that baby, I look at you different. I'm sorry if you lose your kid, I look at you different than I do a man. You carried that baby, and how do you lose your child? I can't wrap my mind around it. How do you lose your kid, first of all? But to not get them back, they give you that you only have to have 6 months of paying bills on time and keeping a job. 6 months. That's all you have to have. You can't do that?
There's women that's come out of prison that's been arrested for drugs or even things worse than that's gotten their kids back.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, it's so easy for a bio mom. I don't care where you live in this country. It is so easy for a bio mom to get their kids back. There's no excuse. I've went through juvenile court for 8 years. I've seen some of the shittiest women that walking in there, you could tell they can't take care of themselves and walk out of there with their kids. So there's no excuse. I'm sorry, no excuse.
And I've got to totally agree with Gail right there. And the fact of all the years that she's had that chance. And then y'all have heard her in other lives talk about, well, we've seen them at Walmarts. And she even approached them. That's sad to tell them that that's not your mother, I'm your mother. You're telling children that don't even know you. You're a complete stranger to that. Trying to devastate them. And thank God, in one sense, you didn't try to get them back because they're in a much better place right now with a much better person that's teaching them the difference between right and wrong. And they're not around Johnny. I mean, like Claire said, you would have to kill her before you take her loved ones away from her. I mean, and that's the way most mothers feel. They're going to fight tooth and nail.
You do without for your kids. You just do. As a parent, you do without. If you don't have enough food for you and your kids eat. If you don't have enough money for clothes for all of y'all, then you wear the clothes you had last year and your kids get clothes that they need to fit, that because they've grown. You do without for your kids. And you make sure that their needs are met above yours. But I guess some people just aren't parents. It is what it is.
I mean, you don't wait until they turn 18 and think that you can make up for it then.
Yeah, and you don't say, well, they'll know one day. What, you're going to bash the one who raised them? You're going to bash the one who was there when they were sick, that put them through school, that bought everything they needed, their necessities? You're going to bash the one who put them to bed at night? You know, come on, the one who probably held them when they cried.
What's going on, Seeper?
What up?
Not much. We figured we'd go ahead and get started on the video. Like I told him, I think this is the one video that got up underneath both of them's skin. And all we were doing, we're calling out the stories in her personal story. You know, the things that didn't sound right. People that we had, Miss Gail, that had done adoptions many times. And she came on to even explain how it works. And then, of course, they wanted to say, well, we were bringing kids up in it and all that. No, we never brought the kids up, Melinda. But we still want to point out what kind of person you are. And not just you, but Johnny. So that's what we done. That's that's where we're at right now.
All right. What's up, everybody in chat?
Better with ours. How are you? It's Power Stroke.
I know a lot of people has messaged me, and I'm sorry I ain't got back with you. I've just had a lot going on.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, we'll let some of this play, and then we'll. Anytime you want me to stop or so, just let me know.
All right.
Because you weren't there and they're wondering why you're not there. You're going to bash that person to them when they turn 18. What do you think they're going to say to you when you do that? You
Just
really
because
think that's how you're going to build a relationship with them? No. That's how you're going to never see them again.
you popped them out, don't mean you're the one that raised them.
Like I said, he was good to Riley. Trees were just like his own. I ended up pregnant. I ended up moving. His mom ended up giving up her apartment and moving over to Boone's Camp, Williamsport, whatever. But she had a house over there. She owned it. So we went over there and lived with her. Out in the country, up a holler. Everything was Gucci. Everything was so good. Throughout my entire pregnancy, everything was so good. Like the man treated me like gold. He was not mean to me. Like everything was good. I had Jordan. Things went.
Now, Melinda, in this case, your best bet would probably be in calling them by, I had Jay or something like that. Probably not too wise putting out your offspring, because I'm not going to say your child because you're not raising them, but putting out the kid's name. Just saying, that's not really wise. I mean, you're doxing a minor. I mean, I know you don't really care, but
Downhill extremely quick. Extremely quick. He stopped being good to Riley. And it wasn't just me and Jake that lived in the house with his mommy. It was his brother's wife and her 2 kids. Now, his brother was in jail at the time. I'm doing good, Random Country. I hope you're doing good. But anyways, guys, I'm not going to ignore you, but if I read the chat, no, I know I don't, Pat, but I want to tell my story. And if I cry, please just overlook it, okay? But I want to tell my story.
oh, they must have put something in chat real sad because, I mean, she started crying reading chat.
Oh, I did not mean to push that. But anyways, things went downhill quick after I had Jordan. Now, there was another little baby that was the same age as Riley. That was my ex-sister-in-law's kid. And things that she was allowed to do, Riley wasn't allowed to do, and Jake would try to whoop her for it. Now, do you guys remember? I know they still have them. It's the little plastic kid belts for little girls. Do you guys remember those?
I guess she's talking about the little belts that come with the pants on some of the clothing.
Okay. Well, Random Country, he wanted to whoop her with one of those. Not happening. Not happening on my watch. It's not. Well, because I wouldn't allow him to whoop her, I got whooped. Or he tried to whoop me. Well, I would fight back. When he realized that I would fight back, he would just go straight and choke me out. Or wake up on the floor.
Yeah, these tears are faker than hell.
Okay. Now, Melinda, yeah, I've got to ask you this then. If stuff like this took place, why did you continue to stay, especially with the children? I mean, because you're literally putting them in harm's way. Yeah, so that should have been the first thing she thought of right there. We're kids. She didn't. Oh, wood chipper puts herself before the kids. Why would you do it?
This man for 4 years. I tried so hard to make it work. I remember Riley was 2 years old, or maybe a year and a half. She's probably about a year and a half. I could say, Riley, go sit on the couch now. And to look back, it breaks my heart. Not Johnny, God, I've been with Johnny so long, but Jake's brother got out of jail. Well, his wife, he ended up getting her knocked up. She gets mad because me, Jake, and Sean had walked outside. Well, me and Sean was going to smoke a joint. Jake just went with us. Well, Nicole made the remark that she was going to leave and kill his bastard baby. When I tell you this man walked in that house and hit this woman, he absolutely shattered her jaw.
What you got, Brandy? Okay. So right now, I mean, we've heard she's went through all kind of abuse, and I'm not making any fun of this whatsoever. I mean, domestic abuse is nothing to make fun of. My thing, Melinda, is why continue to stay? You not only put yourself at harm, but take a chance at the children being at harm. Brandy, now getting to what you're saying, that's what he said. Even the night that we had both of them up, a couple years ago, that it wasn't until after they got together that he got her hooked and all that. That until then, the only thing she would really do would be weed and just small stuff like that. That she never wasn't hooked on any major drugs. But there again, coming out of Johnny's mouth, there's a 95% chance that it's a lie.
Well, the other thing is when Jake died, he was supposedly had a bottle full of pills in his pocket when they found him in the lake. And he was a known pill head, so you think that old Merle wasn't doing pills when she was with Jake? That's probably why she stayed with Jake so long, because he was supplying her pills.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there. Probably doing them together. I agree with you.
And I mean, like, she needs a whammy for this performance here, because I mean, she turns her tears on and off super, super quick.
What else, April? Whatever do you mean? She does. She
I mean, I think the reason her nose is probably running is probably because she's snorting some pills.
She put on a hell of a performance. Well, I mean, now Barendorf, see, that's the funny thing. So apparently that guy's death was a robbery. They only took his boots off, right, Seeper?
Yeah, yeah. The robbers took his boots off, but then supposedly their story is supposedly the police and people found the pills in his pocket, but on the report there is no report of no pills being found.
Yeah, and that was like how many days later? I mean, it was what, 5 or 6?
I think it was longer than that. I'd have to look back at it. I want to say it was like a week or something, maybe 2 weeks, but it was a while.
So yeah, not a very good thief. I mean, that's normally the first place you're going to go to is the pockets. If
Yeah.
the thieves went straight for the boots, they've been told by somebody something, and of course, whatever they thought was there wasn't there. So why wouldn't they search?
Well, nowadays people don't search people's pockets when they go to rob them. That's not where they keep things at. It's always in the boots.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was killed in what, 20 years ago? No, 15. About 15.
I mean, I've never heard of anybody robbing anybody and
You
looking in
know,
their boots.
who wears boots? This isn't the 1850s. Come on now. I mean,
I mean, shoes, boots, whatever. I've never seen anybody get robbed and be like, "Hey, empty your boots."
now I've seen people get robbed because of their Nikes back in the 80s. But yeah,
It's a stick up. Give me your boots.
yeah. On top of that, hell, they didn't even take the damn boots. Which never put on a dead man's pair of boots. It's bad luck.
I mean, I don't know if the whole history of robbers, if anybody's ever like searched people's feet.
Yeah. Well, Brandy B, they couldn't have been work boots because I mean Johnny wasn't going to need them. And yeah, she was questioned extensively. Excuse me, I was taking a drink while talking about all this. But let's get back to her performance of the year. And now we just heard that he made threats on only. You'll be around people that's making threats towards a mother carrying. Why? I mean, I can't see it. Do y'all have anything to add?
I'm just confused because she keeps saying that she's making this video because of me and my video, and all I was talking about is how parental rights are signed away and what you have to do in court. This has absolutely nothing to do with me.
Oh no, I mean it doesn't. And
I mean, she's putting all of this on my shoulders, and I don't agree with women getting beaten. I don't agree with kids being in an abusive household. It's not good for them. It's not healthy. And she's putting her life story, if that's what happened to her, on my shoulders, and that is not what my video was about, and that's false, and that's ridiculous to try to put that on me. That's not okay.
Well, and here's my thing, and this comes later on into this, but I'll go ahead and with all this abuse and all that, and somebody had already commented, but I've got to ask her, why does she think that they would only take 2 of the kids? At this point in time, all the kids would have been taken away.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Which if I was a female and I went through a story like she's telling, and I heard this right now, and I spotted all these inconsistencies, I'd be madder than hell.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is in this video is there's no definitive reasoning why her kids got taken. Like I don't, maybe I missed it, but because that's why I was gonna wait to get to it. But there's one part where, you know, they outrun the cops. She goes, lays in the bed. The cops come, and all of a sudden they take her kids. Well, they don't. Cops don't take your kids for running from the cops.
Yeah.
So there's something more. I mean, I guess if the kids were in the car when it happened or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I didn't get a definitive reasoning of why she signed whatever away to her kids.
Yeah. And it has to be in front of a judge. Like, you
Yeah.
can't just sign your rights away without a judge being there. A judge has to sign it. But it's just, oh my God, I don't know. It's not making any sense to me. I don't know. And I know abused women, and you have nother a whole nother a level of respect for women when you've been abused. And the way she talks to me, it's making me not believe she was abused, because you respect women a lot more when you've been through things, and you look at them different, and you don't want to hurt any female the way you've been hurt. And the things she says to me, and the way she talks to me, and the way her husband talks to me, and that she agrees with it, it makes you look like you're not a very good person, and you don't respect women. And I don't think anybody that's been abused would act that way toward women.
Hey,
Let
That's
pause
just
me
it
my
real
ask
take
quick,
on
you.
it.
Wade.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right.
I tell you, I don't know if a lot of people caught it, but it was a few weeks back. Uh, I say a few weeks, it may have been a month or so back. I got it clipped, but Johnny was talking about this, and he said when Merle he slipped up because he was like, yeah, when Merle give her kids away, I mean when she lost her kids. I gotta get that. I'll when I get it, when I find it through all my stuff, I'll send it to you and let you put it out.
Okay. So even Johnny's helping us by admitting that she gave him up.
Hmm.
Of course, he's going back from that's going. It's just a skit. It was a joke, folks. It was sarcasm.
Let me ask y'all this too. Did you catch this? And I'm not for sure about the first part, but
What up, Drew?
didn't she say something about her dad and her mom about a closet situation? And then it was her and this guy in a closet
Her father was abusive
to her
with
mom.
her mother, and I believe he choked her uh,
But it was
when
some it was
Melinda was
something to do.
younger.
Yeah, but it was in a closet, right?
Right, right,
Yeah.
and
So that was my thing. Is so her mom and dad had the closet situation, and then now she's got a closet situation, and then later on we're going to hear in the video that her mom and dad, he took her to a strip job, and then Melinda and this guy ended up at a strip job. So that's what's just real confusing to me, is like, how is so much stuff relating back and forth from your mom and dad to you and this guy?
kind of like I said, how Johnny's story, other people's stories became his story.
Yeah, and what she's doing, this is a classic example. Like I'm with Miss Gail. I dealt with it with my sister all my life, of beating dudes up that would put their hands on my sister. I absolutely do not agree with any man putting their hands on a woman. It's horrible. Um, I think what she's doing in this video is she's trying to pull at heartstrings along with trying to tell a little bit of her story.
Mm-hmm. Just like his last story.
Because it really don't have anything to do with Miss Gale's live that she did. She's questioning or talking about, not questioning her, but talking about signing rights away to a kid, and then she makes this whole spiel of, well, this domestic abuse and all this stuff, but that's to pull at your heartstrings.
Yeah, now see, for tell me if you think I'm wrong or not, but I think when Johnny done his story and everybody came down hard on him, he thought she could get away with it with her being a female, and probably could have, but the way she told the story, we knew that the stuff she said was wrong. And that's what we called her out on, and didn't really go her way.
Yeah, the craziest stuff to me was what that situation was. When you listen to her story, she talks about, it's kind of what I was talking about in that video, was she talks about her mom and dad, her watching her mom get abused in the closet and then a gun pulled on her at the strip mine and all kinds of shit. And then it just so happens the same shit happens to her 20 some plus years later when she's an adult. Like almost the same stories. Like I just don't buy that. I think she's trying to use her mom's stories as her own.
Now, honestly, I believe you're right. I mean, I think that honestly, I don't think she can remember too much of her past. I think that's where they done so much drugs. Um, Only bits and pieces of it. Maybe mentally she's tried blocking it out. I don't know. Um, because of
Well,
being
I
ashamed.
mean, well, I mean, what's the chances of abuse victims having the same similar types of abuse as your parents had abuse? Like, I just don't know that that happens.
Yeah, as far as in the closet, and yeah, I mean,
Yeah, like the same similarities. Like, like I don't know. I've never seen that myself. I could be wrong, but I just think she's using a story and trying to make it her own.
definitely wasn't a good look. And there was a lot of people that noticed it, and we were the ones that called it out, and not only for ourselves but for them. Let's see what else she tells. Yeah, I mean, if y'all haven't seen Gail's video later on tonight, please go and watch it. It's 15 minutes. It's not very long. It goes by extremely quick. She talks about what happens. She's been in there many times to adopt. Talks about CPS and states even in other states that it's called different, other than Child Protective Services, but it's basically the same thing. She's not. It's not a verbal attack
What's up, Petty Brandy?
so much on Melinda as it is. She's calling her. It's basically calling her out, saying she could have gotten her kids back by now.
I've only really, and that's what drives me insane. Johnny says all the time that I attack
What's up,
him all the
John?
time, and I don't. Have I made funny posts about him? Of course I have, because he's ridiculous. I've, and that's all I'm gonna say. He's ridiculous because he is so ridiculous. But the only person I have really attacked on here is my sister, and I'm gonna say that one more time. My sister, because I got tired of watching my nephew be attacked by his mother and nobody stand up for him. Nobody in my family, let me take that back. No one in my family was coming forward and standing up for him. I was blocked on everything that had to do with my sister. I was blocked on Instagram. I was blocked on Facebook. She had blocked my phone number on her phone. The only thing I could do was get on here and say what I had to say to her. So I did. And that video's still up, and she is the only person I have verbally attacked on here. I have not attacked him. I have not attacked his wife. The video I made today was saying, just don't lie and say you were tricked about signing papers because you're talking to somebody who spent 8 years in juvenile court. That's only with the 3 that I have now. That's not counting let's see, I've had 10 kids in my home besides my 4 biological. That's not counting the other 7 kids that I went through court with before the 3 that I adopted, because I've had 7 other kids live with me as well. So I went through court with them too. So I've been in the juvenile system ever since my oldest son, who is 30, will be 32 this year, ever since he was 9. I've been going through juvenile court. So you can't tell me anything about juvenile court that I don't know about. So don't get on here and say you were tricked. Somebody stole your kids. You can't tell me that. So please don't get on here and spin that lie, because you're preaching to the choir when you talk to me. That's not okay. And that video was not attacking her. Just don't get on here and play sympathy to people when you're lying. Just don't do that. I don't like people that lie, especially when it comes to kids. If you're going to sign your rights away to your kids, say you did it. Just say you did it. Just don't bash the person that's raising them, because that happens to me still today. I'm told that I even get messages on Facebook every now and then. You stole my kids. I'll get a message. Hey, can I send you some money for the kids? No, I don't want anything from you, because I went through a lot with these people. And as soon as I say no, I don't want anything from you. Well, you stole my babies. Sweetheart, that's your signature on those 50 pages in my closet where you didn't want to pay child support. All because you was going to pay $25 a month. It was $25 a month. That's all it took for them to sign their name on a paper. But they signed it, just like she signed it 8 to 10 times. Like I said, you know what you're doing when you sign those papers. So just don't lie to people. If you're going to get on here and you're going to make money off of people, at least be honest.
I mean, if you're going to do a channel about wanting to be positive and all that, then
Then
actually
be
come
real.
clean. Yeah, be
Yeah, be real.
be honest to
Miss Gail,
yourself.
I want to give you a big shout out too for that adoption process. I know is not easy.
Yeah,
Oh,
a
no,
safe.
it's not. It was brutal. But you know what? My mom and dad took kids in when I was growing up, and so it was normal to me. Like, we had kids live with us. I don't know if y'all seen the song Ryan made, "Dirty South," about the guy that killed his wife.
Right.
Their daughter lived with us. The daughter of the mom that got killed. That's a true story.
Oh wow.
Yeah, their daughter lived with us, and their younger daughter lived with my brother's wife. So the older daughter lived with my family, and the younger daughter lived with my sister-in-law's family. So that's a true story. He really did kill his wife. He got away with it too. They never found her. So yeah, but my mom and them took kids in all the time and took people in all the time that didn't have nowhere to go. So it's normal to me. Um, it's just how we were raised. And I took that on from my mom and dad, and I've had a lot of kids live with me, and I would still be doing it today. But with these three, I got the opportunity to adopt them, and I kept them, and here I am today.
And a big shout out to what was it, the kid's grandmother that took these kids in, because if not,
Yeah.
Johnny, just think they would have been in foster care like you were, and you know how much you hated foster care. You know, look at the damage it done to you, to your soul. That could have been the same thing that happened with these kids, because Melinda gave them up, didn't want to take care of them.
Yeah, I mean, this lady's got them at the store with her, buying things. You should be patting her on the back instead of being like causing a confrontation in front of the children. You should be patting her on the back. Thank you so much for doing what I'm not doing.
I mean,
I really appreciate you for doing what I didn't do.
Melinda's actually caused harm to these two kids, or could have, just as much as your parents did to you. But yet you're over there telling her, "Oh, it'll be okay. You can tell them your story when they get older, if they want to come around."
Yeah.
And I tell you, there's some other stuff in this video too. I don't really understand. Is like at one point she leaves with Riley, but don't leave with her other kids. And there's one point where he goes to jail and she don't leave with her kids. It's like some of that just don't. If things were as bad as they were, and you were, being beat up and all that stuff, as soon as I had an opportunity, I would leave with my kids.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, how can you pick one kid over the other. And I mean, that's what she's done her whole entire life. How can you pick a favorite and say the other two are just? I hate to say this, but it's like you treat them like garbage. You just tossed them out.
Yeah, and they were younger than Riley.
Yeah, you took two siblings away from Riley. Riley, I never know how it feels to have them two siblings with her. You took that away from her.
I popped that comment up there from Straight Shooter. She was just asking Miss Gail, did Skylar and Billy get to pack and play? It kept changing delivery dates.
Okay. Well, yeah,
I
and
haven't talked to her today. I'm not sure. I know she told me that she saw it was coming, and thank you so much. But I haven't talked to her today. I'll call her when we get off here, and I'll get her to shoot you a message. But I'll find out.
but yeah, you took that away from Riley. As much as you want to say that you done it for good intentions, I guess it's probably I imagine you're telling her you took that away from her. Yeah, and just y'all imagine depending on if Riley still remembers it, which I'm sure she does. That's got to play some kind of psychological. That's got to mess with that little girl's head, and I'm just can't imagine what stories Melinda's told her. Think about that when you lay your head down tonight.
You know, her daughter is absolutely beautiful. She is absolutely beautiful girl, and I really hope the best for her. And I hope that she well, look at Miss Bill's tat on her arm. Not what's Robert saying about my tattoo?
Well, look at Gail's tat on her arm, not merely as tatted on her arm.
I don't know
Gail's.
what that is. But anyway, I really hope her daughter gets to reconnect with her siblings and gets to have that bond with them. I hate that when siblings get split up. The three that I adopted have there's 8 kids. There's 8 siblings counting my 3, so there's 5 more. And they're in 3 are in South Carolina and one's in Nashville and one's actually in Dixon. And I do talk to her from time to time. She's a really good girl. And but she's older and she's like, I feel so bad for not talking with him, but I have my whole own life, you know what I mean? And she feels guilty, but she has nothing to feel guilty for because the situation she's in is not her fault. You know, it's so sad that that's what they do to these kids is they get split up and then they have their own life. And then it's really hard to make that connection once it's all said and done. You know, they've got their own family, their own life, their own parents, and it's just hard to reconnect after that. And it's not their fault and they shouldn't feel guilty about it.
I mean, poor Riley's been done wrong anyhow. I mean, look, she's already had taken money away from her that shouldn't have been, so they could have a car. I mean, and there's other things. Yeah, they're definitely never going to win a Parent of the Year award.
Yeah.
But let's
Yeah,
see
that
what.
sibling thing's hard because my parent and all of her siblings, when they grew up, they were put in orphanages and all separated, and they had to reunite later in life, and it's hard on them.
Yeah. It's just sad for the kids. And like I said, you know, her daughter's absolutely beautiful and she seems just like this sweet little girl and getting a rough start that, you know, she's had because I know she hasn't been with her the whole time from what Melinda says. It's really sad. It's, you know, I hate it and I hope that um she ends up being strong and can, you know, make the right decisions for her life better than, you know, what she's had. So
She's definitely got to be a strong individual, like Miss Beehive said, with all the embarrassment that she has to put up with both parents and everything that has happened throughout her life because of them. So let's get back into it. And now, before we do this, so I want to say something as well. So Melinda and Johnny have both attacked Miss Gale. They've talked about Miss Gale and her husband. They called Miss Gale several names, saying she was with him when he was a minor. Everybody knows, that that's wrong. That story is just absolutely wrong. But here's the thing. With all that said, everything they've said about it, why is it no different for them allowing their 17-year-old to be with an adult male in his 20s? And this has been going on for quite some time.
I was terrified to leave. Like, absolutely terrified. Jake, whenever me and him would get into it, he would take the cell phone. And this was back whenever the batteries were in the back of the cell phones. He would go and take my battery out of my phone and then bring my phone back in the bedroom after locking me in there. And be like, yeah, now call somebody. Took every house phone, computer, any way of communication.
How's it going, Gail?
Well, it got so bad that I had to grab Riley up because he wouldn't let me have Jordan, and I had to run all the way to the end of the holler to the next house and call the law. It took the law 45 minutes to get to me. By the time they got there, you couldn't tell I even had a kid. Everything in that house that belonged to Jordan was not in there. It took me almost 2 months to even lay eyes on him again. I didn't know where they went. Well, I called Jake's cell phone when the law finally got there. And I told the law that his...
Yankees for life, how's it going?
Okay, so see that's the part right there that I didn't understand earlier is he took Riley but left Jordan there.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently she just ran out, for this long run up the holler or down the holler and to get to another house. And
Also, she didn't grab Riley.
no, but apparently in 45 minutes, the time it took for the cops to get there, apparently, I guess he just emptied the house out of everything that belonged to the kids and all.
You see, that's what I don't understand. Because she talks about just Jordan. Because I thought I heard her say at one time that she just took Riley. I don't.
Yeah, I think I was wrong on that initial live. I think she did take Riley and leave the other one, which, Melinda, that's abandonment. I mean, if the cops got there and there's no one there except for the baby, what do you think the cops are going to say?
I don't know. This whole thing's confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mom had to have been the one to drive him out of there because Nicole was gone. That was my sister-in-law. Jake was gone. My baby was gone. His mommy was gone. I mean, everybody was gone. So the law told Jake to put his mommy on the phone. Well, he did. And he said, you have to bring them back. And the first thing that came out of her mouth is, I want her out of my house. He said, technically, I can put you out for 30 days out of your own home because she is a tenant here. And I said, I wouldn't live here. You couldn't pay me to stay here. But she had took him to Ohio. I ended up moving to Ohio. It wasn't the plan, no. But once I got there, I thought I made it work, maybe I could get away with Jordan.
Now, how did she not see them leave? I mean, because if the next house is so far away from the way she described, and apparently they left in his mom's automobile with everything and apparently every freaking body, good chance they're going to ride right by her. How did she not see them leave? And how in the heck do they pack everything up so quick?
That was the biggest mistake I'd ever made. His nanny had a trailer across the field from her house that she let us live in. This man got mad one night. We were on our way home. And he got mad because his radio wouldn't work. Well, the law got behind us and blue lighted us.
Okay, so now they're in Ohio. He's mad because the radio doesn't work and the cops are behind him, blue lighting him.
Well, he outran the law that night.
Do what?
This is what, yeah, this is what's confusing to me right here.
Okay.
We made it home. He said, go jump in the bed. So I went and jumped in the bed, covered up. Next thing you know, the law's kicking our door in. And he ends up going to jail that night. And that's whenever I should have left. But I didn't. Well, he ends up getting out of jail. His nanny goes and gets him. A few days pass, and let me tell you, whenever he didn't have a pain pill, look out, because you were his target. You were the closest thing to him for him to take shit out on. So, his mama used to get Xanaxes. Well, he ended up being mad one day, made me eat a handful of them. Didn't have a choice. He shoved them down my fucking throat. His nanny ended up taking me to the ER.
So he shoves a handful of the pills that he loves so dearly down your throat.
Okay, so yeah, this is where I was confused and lost at, because I was thinking it was that night that they got took. This is leading up to why.
Yeah, this.
And telling them that his grandson was trying to OD me. I ended up making it back to his nanny's house. Days had passed. We ended up into it again. I had Jordan in my arms. And I melted to the floor because he choked me again.
Okay. Number one, you stayed with him after he tried, as you said, ODing you. A couple days later, you just said that you knelt to the floor because he was choking you. Now, if you're knelt to the floor, you're facing down, your head is down almost between your knees, is the way I'm picturing it. How's he choking you at that point?
Well, his nanny threatened to shoot him. She said, I shot my own son over the same things, and I will shoot you. Well, he let go of me. My best friend at the time came and got me. Well, he ends up coming back to Kentucky. I ended up pregnant with Ashley.
Well, There, she doxes the other minor's name. Now, if these two kids were in her household, she wouldn't be doing this. But yet, she has nothing to do with these kids, so she just throws their names out there like, yesterday's garbage.
And that was not meant. He ended up, I didn't want no more after I had Jordan. I only wanted 2 kids, but he basically made me have sex with him one night, held me down and made me. So it is what it is. It happened. I got pregnant.
And so you just
I
gave
ended
up
up
boy
having
too.
Ashley. Me and him end up in a fight. Law shows up. CPS end up involved. They want to remove.
Now, folks, does that not sound like she's got resentment towards little Ashley, the baby at this time, because of him? I mean, maybe that's why she done what she done. She only wanted 2 kids.
Move the kids. Riley ends up going to my mom. I signed temporary custody papers over to my mom.
Okay, so right now she's saying she signed temporary custody papers over to her mom.
And I've done the same with your Jordan and Ashley with Legina. Now, Gail, let me tell you something. I read them papers. I know what I signed. Now, if I'd have signed adoption papers, I wouldn't have Riley right now. So make that add up, Gail, okay? Not even.
All right, so pause it right there. So this is my thing. She says she signed whatever the adoption papers, she wouldn't have Riley right now. So this is the thing that stands out to me is so whatever happened with the other kids that belong to Jake and to her mother-in-law on that side, and so because those were Jake's kids, and Riley was whoever the other daddy is, but she signed that over to her mama. So it would be a lot easier for you to get your kid back from your mama than it would be to get your kids back from your mother-in-law. I mean, not to say that not to say that it's still going to be hard, but I think it would just. I mean, your parents are going to help you real fast to be able to get your kid back. So that's why I think she didn't lose Riley, because her mom probably enabled her whatever way to get her kids back, to where her mother-in-law's like, no, I don't want some obviously piece of shit taking care of these kids.
Yeah. How many baby daddies she got? Gosh, she's starting to sound like Dana, being with all these men.
So those 2 right there are from Jake, and then Riley's from another guy.
So biological parents don't sign adoption papers. That makes her sound even more stupid. So biological parents sign their rights away. That's one court date, okay? Adoption, the court date for adoption, biological parents are not even there. They're not even there. That happens after parental rights are terminated. Because so I had a court date. Well, I call it a court date, but there was nobody in the courtroom but me, the judge, my attorney, and the biological parents. That we sat at the table inside the courtroom, where the lawyers usually sit, and they signed the papers to terminate rights. After that was done, my attorney got the papers. We finalized everything. The judge signed everything. After that was done, my lawyer started with the adoption proceedings. That didn't happen till like 3 months after. So after the rights were terminated, all the paperwork went through the state, the adoption was after, and the bio parents aren't even there. They don't have to sign anything for adoption. The only person that does anything is me, my attorney, and the judge. So her saying she didn't know she signed adoption papers, you don't sign adoption papers as a bio parent. That has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, there's just too many holes in her story.
And nothing but a thing said that her mother might still have custody of Riley. I mean, the lady does live next door, and she's there almost every night having dinner. So,
Yeah.
does her mom have custody of Riley, or does Melinda?
Yeah.
Maybe
She
that's
might.
why. Maybe that's why they're living right next door to her mom.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. It's just sad.
Not even
It's sad. It's sad for the kids. It's all sad.
Yeah. The whole story. I mean, if she was abused, that's sad. If she wasn't and she's using it, that's even sadder. The idea that two young kids aren't with their sibling and could be, uh, that's the really sad thing. I mean, when you've got two innocent, actually three innocent kids tied up in this, because, like we've stated, Riley's innocent in all this, and she's got two siblings that she don't even get to see. That's extremely sad. Somebody asked how many times her Cash App got hit during this story. There's probably no telling. I'm sure they'd probably made something off their Cash App on it.
I talk too much, but I don't know a lot of women that have been abused or been through situations like that just want to get online and talk about it or want to talk about it, period. I mean, I don't know. Usually when women are abused or their kids have been abused, they just don't talk about it freely. They don't really want anybody to know.
Yeah. I mean,
So I just to get on there and cry and put it out there and say things like that and then be like, there you go, Gail, like no, like it's a badge of honor. No, no.
yeah, I've seen an occasional channel here and there that's what they base their channel on, is to give women things to look for. But other than that, no. I mean, she's wearing it like she does some of these new tattoos, and it's Melinda, you got to know that you putting it out there, people are going to listen to it. Some people are going to review the live, and there's going to be, some things are going to be questioned because there are gaps in the story. Um,
even a month after I signed them temporary custody papers, I get a letter in the mail saying that Legina had adoption papers. I, honest to God, on my life, think that she paid that lawyer.
well, Melinda, when people get a lawyer, that's what they do. They pay them. And another thing, so when all this went down, you'd have thought, even with the way it went down, she would have still kept the paperwork. And so when we done this live and it all, went back and forth for a little while, how come you never showed the paperwork? Did when you went to sign the paperwork, were you messed up or was you clean? Did you literally read the paperwork, or did you just go in there and sign it like some people do a car and don't realize they're paying 28% interest rate?
See, this is something I don't understand either. And Miss Gail probably can touch on it. Is she says when I signed the temporary rights paper away, and then a few weeks later come the adoption papers. Like it just don't happen that fast. And I mean, he can't be gotten for an abandonment because I don't think it could happen that fast. So it's like something just ain't. This turkey ain't jiving.
None of it happens that fast. And she would not legally be allowed to have a copy of the adoption paper. It wouldn't go to her. Her name would be nowhere on there. I have my adoption papers, and the only names on there is mine, my husband, and the kids. They did not mail the bio parents a copy of my adoption. Why would they do that? That's not legally their papers. That's my papers. Like, that's
Right.
my papers for my kids. If they mailed it to them, I would have thrown a fit because that's my court papers. That is private. Like, it's not, that would not be hers. If it was adoption papers that the mother-in-law had for her grandchildren because she adopted them and they mailed it to her, somebody's ass would be in trouble.
Yeah, and I know because I've got one of my old business partners that I let partner up with me and tried to help him out. He was an adopted kid, and his adopted parents, once he got adopted, because they both got got in a car wreck and it killed them, and so their whole estate and all was getting split up between the kids and all. But he had just as much rights and was just as much of a kid to that family as the biological kids.
Yeah. Seeper, my kids' birth certificates. So when you adopt them, the state mails out new birth certificates. The biological mom on there is me, and the biological dad on there is my husband. Their old birth certificate from where they were like born is non-existent. The state
Yeah.
destroyed all those records.
Yeah, and see,
They're
that
not
can't
there
happen
anymore.
fast.
No, it doesn't. It took me like 3 months to get the birth certificate. I had to go to Social Security office to change their name on their Social Security card and had to take all these papers down there to do that. That was a lengthy process. And to change their name. It was like it took a year to get all that done. It's not easy. Like I said, juvenile court is set up for biological parents. Once the rights are terminated, you're looking at a year to get all the paperwork done. It's not easy.
Yeah, there's something missing in this story.
And with all this abuse that she talks about, surely to God, there's been some reports. I would like to see some police reports.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say this. From today, I have looked up some information, and I can't find any. I can't
Well,
find
CPS
any.
files are private. You can't look
Well,
those up.
no, I mean like abuse from Jake, like between her
Oh,
and him.
yeah.
I haven't found any charges or anything on him like that.
Oh, a
Now,
domestic would be there.
yeah, and I'm not
Yeah,
saying it didn't happen, but now we've heard in some of
yeah,
her stories that the cops, were called. So,
yeah. And I mean, I didn't dig much. Like I said, I'm gonna say I didn't dig. I just looked up because I looked up the case of where he died, and just looked up some of the stuff with him, and I don't see anything. So I'm like you. I'm not saying it didn't happen, um, but I don't see any domestic cases.
well, straight shooter. Yeah, the reason she's not putting all them kids' names on there, she don't want a constant reminder of what kind of person she is. Yeah, because then it's going to show what kind of black heart she's got instead of being a gray heart. Used to being a gray heart. Yeah, because now Merle, I mean, you and Johnny know receipts, and that's going to be brought up. Kay, apparently not. I mean, you'd have thought she would have been, but apparently not. But yeah, we'll get back to some of the story because I think y'all are going to be interested in the latter part as well. Okay, Merle, speak up. Can't hear you.
But let's listen to her.
When you sign your rights away, it's not a quick process. at
Kentucky's
all.
not the same.
I don't know if anybody's been to juvenile court. If you haven't, oh my God, I hope you never go to juvenile court because it is the most heartbreaking experience I've ever had in my life. It every time I had to go to court, and I had to go to court so many times, I would cry, I would throw up all the way there. I'd call my mom, and I would be terrified every time I went because it's so up in the air. Juvenile court is set up for parents. It's so easy, guys. It is so easy for parents to get their kids back, especially moms. CPS, which is Children Protective Services, they call it different things in different states, but it's all Children Protective Services. It's set up for parents. It's not set up for kids. It's called Child Protective Services, but it's not about the kids. It's about the parents. And it is set up to reunification. That's their main goal, reunification. And hey, I am all for that if it's what's best for the kids. That's what it's supposed to be, the best interest of the kids. Which is why they assign guardian ad litem, which is an attorney for the best interest of the child. But a lot of times it doesn't work out that way. A lot of times it's not what's best for the kid. It's just saving the state money and giving the kid back to the parent. But a parent only has to have a stable job, a home, and bills that they pay regular to get their kid back. Visitation is allowed unless something bad happens, and then it's supervised visits, but visitation is allowed, and they only have to have a stable home. If the kids have been taken out of the home, they only have to have a stable home for 6 months to get their kids back.
I'm going to cut to the end right here. Because Tennessee is completely different than Kentucky.
Actually, folks, Kentucky and Tennessee are a lot of the rules and laws on that are the same. Because they got looked into after she kept saying that. What she's wanting to do is skip over some stuff that gonna make her look bad.
None of this shit she said. I never once went to court. I went to a lawyer's office with my mother. I went to a lawyer's office with my mother-in-law. The lawyer drawed up temporary custody papers at both offices.
Gail, you want to explain to her on that or touch base on that?
So didn't she say that they were taking her kids out of her home?
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't she say that?
Yep, that's what I thought.
So if they were taking her kids, that means CPS is involved. That means you can't just go to a lawyer and sign away. That means there has to be a safety placement, which is what I was. And I don't care what state you're in. You can sign temporary custody over to a family member, but CPS would have to be there. And
That's what I thought.
yeah, because they have to know, and they would have to do a home study, and they would have to meet with the people that are getting the kids, because that's what they had to do with me. They had to come to my home, and they checked in on the kids several times. Even though you do it with a family member, because I had family members that I kept, it doesn't matter. You're still a temporary custody family, but since they were going to take them, you still have to do the home study. You still have to be checked on. So you can't just go to a lawyer and be like, well, I'm going to get out of all this, so I'm going to sign them over to this person. No, it doesn't work that way, because your kids were about to get taken. All they do is when CPS gets involved, they're like, do you have anybody that can take your kids? And you can call a family member to see if they'll take them, because they don't want to put them in foster care. It costs them money. So of course they want to find a family member first. So if they find a family member, the family member still has to prove that they have somewhere to put these kids safe.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. Wouldn't it be CPS that would be doing the paperwork for the temporary placement?
Yes, it is.
And not a lawyer?
And I still have all those papers too.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And I'm sorry, Kentucky's not a whole different world. It's right in our backyard. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the judicial system between the two are almost a Xerox copy.
I'm sure there may be a couple different things, in each state, but you still the legality of it all is not going to be that much different.
Yeah. And Merle, you probably didn't get him back right off because, like HP just said, look at the stories you've told of during that time you and Johnny first got together. Look at all the drug uses and where y'all
This
were
is
at.
this is my other thing too. Is like when she says she signed away temporary whatever, and then the mother-in-law a couple weeks later hit her with adoption papers. Well, let me tell you this. I'm gonna fight from here to hell and back to not give up my kids, to adopt my kids, for somebody to force me into adopting my kids out. So what happened there? I mean, like why would you just, if that was the case, why would you just roll over and let the parent let the mother-in-law adopt your kids?
And they're not just going to let you walk away. Even if you sign over temporary custody, CPS is there, right? So they draw up this parenting plan, which is what they used to call it. I don't know what they call it now, but it was a parenting plan. So you would have to do parenting classes. And if it's over drugs, you would have to do drug classes or whatever they wanted you to do. If it's anger problems, you'd have to do anger management. Whatever hoops they wanted you to jump through would be in that parenting plan. And they would set up the visitation at that time, and you would have to sign off on that. You would have to sign it, and so would the person who would be taking your kids as the temporary placement. And that would be reevaluated after so long. They'll give you so long to get the classes done or whatever it is you have to do, and then it would be reevaluated in court. So it's not like, well, I'm going to sign my kids over to you and I'm just going to walk away. It doesn't work that way. They set up a plan for you to get your kids back because, like I said, CPS is a reunification center, is basically what it is. They want to get the kids back into the home with the parents. So they're not going to let you just be like, hey, I'm going to give my mom this kid and I'm just going to walk away. No, that's not going to happen because they've already came into your home and they're like, hey, I'm taking your kids. Now, what do we have to do to get you straightened up to get your kids back? Let's make a plan. And then after they do that, they expect you to work that plan. You don't get to just walk away. It doesn't work like that. I mean, eventually you do if you lose your rights, but in the beginning, you don't get to just walk away.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I mean, when you're with somebody that's unwilling to work and doing some of the things he's done or doing, that's probably not going to help your case at all. Not when you're wanting to get your children back, if you ever tried. I mean, and I'm not saying that just because I don't like Johnny. I'm saying that as a parent to another parent.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like it's more of a willingly thing because I'm not going to be willing to give up my kids.
Not
Oh
for
no.
nobody or
Mm-mm.
anything.
No.
No, so there's something else in this story that's missing. I mean,
Yeah.
either I don't know exactly what it is, but I just don't like, why would you lay over and just willingly allow somebody to adopt your kids? Why wouldn't you fight and change? Like, I personally think it was a lot of drug stuff. I don't know. It's just weird. There's a lot to this case.
Yeah, it's just not adding up. And then to be like, well, one day when they get older, no, no.
When somebody else has already put in all the work, you
Yeah.
want to you want to take, say, oh well, yeah, I was your mother. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I
think
know
that's
what I
she had
read.
planned too.
I know what I signed.
I don't think she does. I think she was so messed up that she's had this long time period since it took place, and she's dreamed all this up now.
Anyways, I ended up getting them adoption papers. I ended up reaching out to Jake. I even tried getting back with Jake. And this was after me and Johnny had met. I left Johnny because I wanted my kids in my life. So if that's what it took was for me to be with somebody like that, I was going to. And you know, the guy that my mom worked for on Route 3, I'm going to call him Bob. That ain't his name, but I'm going to call him Bob. I went in there to see my mom. And I had bruises everywhere. He said, Melinda, you're going to end up dead. And that's seriously what it was coming down to. And I knew that. I felt that. But I was willing to make it work to see my kids. So me and him went to Indiana, decided to move up there with my family, my mom's side of the family, to try to mend our relationship, to see if we could better it. I think I was there not even a week, and I couldn't even stomach to look at him. He turned my love that I had for him to hate so bad. I couldn't stay with him. So my uncle took him to his uncle's. And
She must have had a hell of a lot of love to put up with all that. And I mean, we're talking the so-called abuse that she's told, the losing the kids and all that.
Hey, let me address that comment real quick. Hey, GTS TV, do you have proof of that, or is that just something you're saying? That's probably Grind to Shine TV, ain't it?
I believe it is. I don't know. We'll double check and see.
It probably is because I seen him talking to Jerry. Jerry too. Also, man, Wade's email is on his profile. Send him an email, and we can always do a panel with you.
So yes, it is.
Yeah, I figured it were. I mean, I'd be interested, G2S, if you got to. Okay, he said contact me. I can tell you where it came from. And okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'll reach out to you. I'd be interested in hear about that. All right, sorry about that, Wade.
Oh, that's fine.
they brought him back to Kentucky. It took me 3 days to get back to Kentucky because my mommy had to come and get me. She broke down on the way to get me. I get all these messages. I think it was MySpace then. I don't even think it was Facebook. I don't even know. I can't remember if it was Facebook or MySpace, but I was getting flooded with messages. Have you seen Jake? I said, no, and I don't care. I don't care what happens to him. I want him out of my life. I don't care. Well, if I had not been posting like a timeline on my
Will you
way
pause that
back
for a
from
second, Wade?
Yeah.
So I pulled it up. Jerry says he wanted to come on panel. It's the whole adoption process in his life and what he went through. So maybe after we get done with this, if you want, you can bring him up, or we can do it tomorrow night or something.
Yeah. Let's see about maybe setting something up for tomorrow night.
Yeah, because I think there's a bunch of people going live tonight.
Yeah.
Jerry, just email Wade or Instagram him if you got him on Instagram, and we'll do a thing for you tomorrow night so you can tell your story. He says it's long for sure, but it makes sense. Yeah, let's do it tomorrow if you can.
Yeah, just hit me up, like I said, on IG, or you can hit me up on the email that's attached to my about page on my YouTube. All right, let's get to this last little point here, because there we are cutting time.
Indiana with my mom, because when I got back, I went back to Johnny, and next thing you know, I had the state police knocking at my door.
Now, y'all did catch she had went back to Johnny.
And they made everybody in Johnny's mom's house leave. Made them leave their own home. Sure did. Said, I need you guys to leave.
Merle done got in some
Everyone
trouble.
but Melinda. Well, my heart dropped to the floor. And they set a recorder down on the coffee table and pushed play on it. And told me that if I lied, I was going to jail.
CLD, how are you?
Asked me why I said what I said. I said about what? He said, why did you say you didn't care if the man died? I said, because I don't.
Oh, darn. She already wishing death on people. Now we kind of know where her husband gets it.
And at the time, that's how I felt. I had so much hurt, so much anger. And he said, why? I said, you get put through what I got put through. I told Riley she could go outside one day and jump on the trampoline with her brother. She starts out the flipping door, and I had our bedroom window opened, and the trampoline was just like 30 feet from our bedroom window. And Jake hollered and told her to get back in the house. Well, I hollered and I said, I told her she could come out and play. I didn't even get turned around, and this man was on top of me with a gun to my head. And when I tell you, all his mommy did was shut the door until Riley come through my bedroom door. Then she come and took the gun from him. Did she get him off from me? No.
Jerry, his email's on his about page on YouTube.
Yeah. So Riley, which is fixing to have a birthday, if not, or just had a birthday, to where she, I think, legally drive or so, but took a gun away from this grown man, which is, I'm gonna say, got some strength behind him. You know, we've heard about the abuse. This.
Well, I think it was the mama, she said, that took the gun away, wasn't it?
Well, no, okay, and it may have been. I may have just totally misunderstood the whole thing. I thought she said Riley had come through the bedroom.
Yeah, I think Riley came through the door, and then she said that the boy's mom came in and took the gun
Okay.
away.
Yeah, because I was fixing to say, wait a minute, how did? Okay, so that makes a little more sense. Maybe I was going to say, because
Don't feel bad. I'm lost in this whole story too.
yeah, well, I mean, and the next time she tells this, it may be Riley taking the gun away. I think it's one of her toys. Who knows?
And Riley remembers it to this day, and I'm thankful that this is the only memory that she remembers out of all of it. Was that he choked me so hard my neck was pouring the blood. Now he did take me out of there that day, and Riley made them leave their own home. Sure did. Said, I need you guys to leave.
Merle done got in some
Everyone
trouble.
but Melinda.
I'll rewind it a
Well,
minute.
my heart dropped to the floor. And they set a recorder down on the coffee table and pushed play on it and told me that if I lied, I was going to jail.
CLD, how are you?
Asked me why I said what I said. I said about what? He said, why did you say you didn't care if the man died? I said, because I don't.
Oh, darn. She already wishing death on people. Now we kind of know where her husband gets it.
And at the time, that's how I felt. I had so much hurt, so much anger. And he said, why? I said, you get put through what I got put through. I told Riley she could go outside one day and jump on the trampoline with her brother. She starts out the flipping door, and I had our bedroom window opened, and the trampoline was just like 30 feet from our bedroom window. And Jake hollered and told her to get back in the house. Well, I hollered and I said, I told her she could come out and play. I didn't even get turned around, and this man was on top of me with a gun to my head. And when I tell you, all his mommy did was shut the door until Riley come through my bedroom door. Then she come and took the gun from him. Did she get him off from me? No.
Jerry, his email's on his about page on YouTube.
Yeah. So Riley, which is fixing to have a birthday, if not, or just had a birthday, to where she, I think, legally drive or so, but took a gun away from this grown man, which is, I'm gonna say, got some strength behind him. You know, we've heard about the abuse. This,
Well, I think it was the mama, she said, that took the gun away, wasn't it?
well, no, okay, and it may have been. I may have just totally misunderstood the whole thing. I thought she said Riley had come through the bedroom.
Yeah, I think Riley came through the door, and then she said that the boy's mom came in and took the
Oh,
gun
okay.
away.
Yeah, because I was fixing to say, wait a minute, how did? Okay, so that makes a little more sense. Maybe I should. I was gonna say because
Don't feel bad.
She
I'm
did
lost
not.
in this whole story too.
yeah, well, I mean, and the next time she tells this, it may be Riley taking the gun away.
Could
Thinking it's one of her
be.
toys. Who knows? That's why I rewound the thing.
And Riley remembers it to this day. And I'm thankful that this is the only memory that she remembers out of all of it. Was that he choked me so hard my neck was pouring the blood. Now he did take me out of there that day. And Riley told me he was taking me to my mom's. Did he? Nope. Took me on a strip job. So this took me back to what my dad did to my mom. He gets me up there.
Okay, I want to stop this real quick. Matthew, no, we're not talking about the children. We're talking about what went on and showing Merle's integrity and all, what kind of, she's really got. So get with the program there, little buddy. We know you're not really of value, but I just wanted to point that out to you.
This is another thing that I wanted to say too, where she says, and again, Melinda, if you actually were abused and stuff, I'm very sorry that you had to deal with that. But another thing I'm confused about, she said that he was choking me and I was bleeding.
Through the
That's
throat.
what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was bleeding from the throat because he was choking me. Well, I've never seen that.
No. I mean, there may be a little scratch and there may be, some drops of blood or something like that, but not the way she's talking. I mean, yeah. Shit. I don't know. She's off on her own little hive. of the story. I mean, she's definitely thinking that this story is going to give her nothing but sympathy pouring in, and don't think it really worked for you, Melinda. Had it been a story of truth and not, but you've got way too many holes in this story.
We were in a van. Riley was in the back in her car seat. Well, he gets up there, gets out, and just starts walking around the vehicle. All I could do was pray that he just got back in and took me and dropped me off to my mom. Thankfully, that's what he did. But anyways, the state police said that he was missing. Well, I told the state police that story that I just told you guys, and I said, "How would you feel?" I said, "I went through that for 4 years." Well, they ended up leaving. Well, I ended up getting a phone call and a message on Facebook from a lady. I don't even remember her name, but her husband found Jake in the Big Sandy River in Catlettsburg at the barges.
Kind of ironic. She wished him dead, and he ends up dead. Talking about karma. I would hate to know that one of the last few things I mentioned somebody's name on was wishing them.
Now, the county attorney called me and told me that they found Jake's body, that a married woman come forward and turned over state evidence on her husband and on herself. And he asked if I could come in and meet with him. And I did. And they offered her 15 years. They offered him 23. Regardless of what the man put me through, he did not deserve to die the way he did. And that wasn't enough time for me. Regardless of what he did to me, they didn't get enough time to me. So I said, no, I want to push it. And I'm going to tell you the story of what the prosecuting attorney told me that the woman come forward and said. Now, let me grab me some toilet paper before.
Surprised she didn't have all this ready, considering she knew. Oh, well, now we know why.
Now, he said that woman come forward and said that Jake had a bunch of old pannas that he was trying to get rid of.
Get motivated.
Okay, I think that was the end of my recording. I think it had.
But anyways, he
Oh,
had
no,
a bunch
there
of
it
old
goes.
pannas that he was trying to get rid of. And thank you, skincare girls. So they went to go meet him because they told him that they could get rid of him for him. Well, I guess he gets in the car. He gets in the passenger side front seat. The girl is driving. She said that her husband was hid down in the back seat. This was after dark. She said that her husband come up over the seat with some kind of cables and tried to put around Jake's neck. They said that she said that Jake fought out of that. And they ended up outside the car at Gober Roberts Bridge. She said that they ended up down next to the river. And this is her story, not mine. She said that Jake fell and hit his head. It had been raining when this happened. the river was up. Well, they had took his boot off, thinking that the pills was inside his boot. And they wasn't. They recovered the pills out of this man's pocket 13 days later after being in the river.
13 days.
Not dissolved. They were not dissolved. But they just left the man. And where the river was up, it carried him downstream. But the man floated 13 days in the river. And this lady reached out to me, and I'll never forget it. And she was so sincere because it was her husband that found his body. The man couldn't have I made his funeral arrangements the day he turned 21. I didn't have to let his mommy be involved, but I did. It was the right thing to do. In my heart, was I terrified to go to the gravesite? Did an officer go with me? Yes. Did I shake every step of the way? Yes, I did. His body was so decayed from being in the river and being nibbled on by fish that he, like I said, he couldn't even have a viewing. We had to put him straight into the ground.
Well, Merle, I don't think I'd have wished death on anybody. I mean,
This is another thing that's kind of weird with this situation too, is because I know she said that a guy or somebody reached out to her over that situation, with the lady's wife or whatever, her husband. But if you look up all the case information and all, which is not a big deal, but it was the coal dock workers that actually found the guy.
yeah, and to think that they're going to come in like that, question her there at the house like that, just over a little statement. I mean, and Melinda, when did you have time to meet Johnny? I mean, so because she mentioned she went from him to Johnny. She'd already been with Johnny, and then left Johnny to go back to try to get back with him because she's wanting to get the kids back. So apparently, her and Johnny had already had something cooking. Did you know about this drug deal that was going down? Did you go out on drug deals with them?
Well, I do know from the day that it happened, anybody can look the case up, but there's a whole lot of stuff that's that has said it leads up to foul play, and then a drug deal.
Well, I mean, if you're going to rob somebody, you're not going to hide behind the back seat and jump out with a cable to go around the neck. That right there, you've got plans on killing somebody using a cable.
The other thing too was the reports show that he was killed in Floyd County, which is basically it's saying that he was killed in a different area than where he was dumped.
Well, and apparently, I mean, why would you just search one area if you're going to rob somebody? If you're going to rob somebody, you're going to search head to toe, whether you're looking for money, drugs, whatever. Sounds like they just wanted to.
I haven't seen anything in the reports. Like I said, I haven't looked a lot. I just did some preliminary stuff on it, just so I'd have some context on it. But I haven't seen any reports of any drugs recovered.
Well, I mean, now Jerry Will said that's the Ashland, Kentucky area.
Yeah, all I know is Floyd County.
Now, do we know the time frame of these events? Little Mama Payday was asking.
Give me 1 second and I'll give it to you.
Okay. Seeper had quite a bit of information on this in a little of no time. Just out of curiosity and something else. Just I'm sure the cops asked her, but Merle, did you know this couple? Did you ever have any run-ins with them or anything?
I was wondering the same thing. For
Yeah,
them to reach out to her, they had to have her number, right?
yeah. I mean, so it's just yeah. I've watched a lot of investigative reports and stuff like that. Because you talked a lot about awful lot of abuse. Yet I don't think you've ever spoke of having them arrested for it. You were wanting out, but you stated how scared you were. Where was Johnny at during this time frame too? I mean, Jo- Johnny's always stated he'd do anything for you.
This was May 1st of 2011.
Oh, so just not even quite 13 years ago. Now wait a minute. Not quite 13 years ago, but yet she stated in this video, and folks, I know we hadn't got to this point yet, but she stated that the kids were 12 and 13. Huh.
Didn't she
Well,
say her and Johnny have been married 14 years?
Well, I thought she had.
I could have swore she said that they've been married 14 years.
Something's just not adding up. Yeah, Merle, something about your story is not adding up. It's not connecting. I hope you didn't have these many holes in your story when you were talking to the officers. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that case needs to be looked at again. Maybe they have overlooked a few things. Yeah, Beth, I agree with you. So that's pretty much it on the actual story. Now there's about another hour and 50 minutes of the video, but I just don't see us having to get off into it. But I do know that old Merle, she got awful upset when we broke it down, and of course Johnny was one of the first ones going off on it. His thing is, y'all talking about my wife. He don't realize, she's got her own channel, putting out her own content. She's putting herself out there for her videos to be reviewed. Then they tried to flip the script, saying when we were talking about children and making fun of her story, we never never once made fun of her story. We don't believe in abuse, but we didn't believe her story. Of course, now I'm sure Johnny or Melinda have something to say about tonight's live, and that's their right. Go ahead, play the live, break it down, tell us where we're right, where we're wrong, or better yet, come up one night when you see us live wanting to go on panel, but you won't. They don't want to be put on the spot. Don, I'd have to agree with you. If it's real, then Martin's a real Christian. Yeah, I did find it kind of weird that so she got with Johnny, then left Johnny to go back with him, then went back to Johnny. All this happens. Johnny's always stated he would do anything for her, no matter what. But I wanted to play this, let y'all rehear it, see what y'all think. I did see a few people tonight say it was their first time hearing all this. So yeah, if y'all want to finish watching it, it's over on the live section called "Did Melinda Give Up 2 Kids?" You can finish it off by starting at an hour and 46 minutes. But yeah, Johnny, that's the kind of person you're married to. Not that we really think much of you anyhow, so. Gail, I'd have to ask Secret, but I believe it was with them two going to jail and everything. I think I'd answered their questions. Of course, if it is, maybe it needs to be reopened. Sounds like there's some questions that need to be answered. I mean, does her story that she's telling on YouTube match with the story she gave the officers? Oh no, girl. She would have to listen to this story 3 or 4 times before she went live, and she'd still screw it up because it's not the truth. But we'll see what they had to say. Secret, I appreciate you coming up. No, you wasn't really feeling too well. So go get you some rest, and maybe later on this week we can do another live. But I appreciate everybody coming in. Keep an eye out. Who knows? Never know when we'll go live. Never know what run up on. I'm sure it'll be sometime this week, though. Y'all have a great Memorial Day, though. Stay safe. And till next time, we'll see y'all then.